All right, so today we're diving into a love story, one that I think spans decades and might just make you rethink that whole love at first sight thing. Tom Ford and Richard Buckley. I mean, we all know Tom Ford, the fashion icon. But what about Richard Buckley? What's their story?
Well, Richard Buckley was a journalist, very well respected, particularly in the fashion world. And what's really fascinating is that, their story begins back in the 80s, a time when being a same-sex couple came with a whole different set of challenges.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly a walk in the park, was it? So how did these two from such different worlds even cross
Well,
paths?
picture this, 1986, New York City, a fashion show. Tom Ford, young and ambitious, he sees Richard Buckley across the room, and it's like everything else just fades away.
Hmm.
He later described it as feeling like he had found this missing piece of himself.
Okay, that does sound like something out of a movie, but come on, love at first sight. I don't know, I'm a little skeptical. Was it really that instant, or did it develop over time?
Well, Tom has said he felt this immediate connection, like he just knew. But what's interesting is that, their differences, rather than being obstacles, they seem to draw them closer.
So opposites attract. Tell me more about their backgrounds. How did those differences actually play into their relationship?
Well, Tom from Texas, he had this drive, this ambition that, propelled him to the top of the fashion world. Richard, on the other hand, from California, already a seasoned journalist with this very sharp wit and a sophisticated air.
It sounds like they had this synergy, this balance of energies, but how did that actually play out in their day-to-day lives?
Well, their homes, for example, were a testament to their shared aesthetic. Think perfectly curated spaces filled with art, beautiful objects, a blend of Tom's dramatic flair and Richard's refined taste.
So their homes were a reflection of their relationship. But more than just beautiful spaces, did they have any rituals or routines that really defined their life together?
Well, every morning they would pore over the newspapers together, discussing current events, the latest in fashion and culture. In the evenings, it was all about art and these lively conversations. It's like they created their own world, a refuge from the outside pressures, the judgment that they faced as a couple.
That makes you wonder, did those external pressures, the homophobia they encountered, did it strengthen their bond or did it create tension?
It's hard to say for sure. But what we do know is that, their love story unfolds against this backdrop of considerable adversity. I mean, they faced professional setbacks, personal attacks, societal prejudice. And yet they chose each other, day after day, year after year.
That's a powerful testament to their commitment. But while they were navigating those external challenges, Tom's career was really taking off. I mean, his work at Gucci was revolutionary. Did Richard's more understated career ever clash with Tom's growing fame?
It's interesting because while Tom was becoming, this global icon, Richard was establishing his own literary legacy, particularly with his work at Vogue Homes International. His writing was elegant, witty, and insightful.
So while their career paths were different, they were both making their mark on the fashion world, each in their own way. But did they ever directly collaborate? I mean, did Richard's writing ever influence Tom's designs or vice versa?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. They were very private about their creative process.
Yeah.
But there are these hints that their work was deeply intertwined. For example, Richard had this incredible eye for detail and storytelling, which you can see reflected in the narratives behind Tom's collections.
So they weren't just partners in life, they were influencing and inspiring each other creatively. I love that. But how did they handle the pressures of fame? As Tom's star rose, did they struggle to maintain a sense of normalcy?
Well, they were very strategic about their public image. They understood the power of appearing together at events, of being seen as a united front. But they were also fiercely protective of their personal life. They rarely gave interviews about their relationship.
It's like they walked this tightrope between being this visible, influential couple and maintaining their privacy. But amidst all the glamour and the challenges, there was this real love story unfolding. And it wasn't just about romance, was it? It seems like they were also deeply committed to challenging traditional gender roles.
Oh, absolutely. They never tried to fit into any predefined boxes, and that in itself was a powerful statement. But, their story takes on this whole new dimension when you consider Richard's health challenges, his cancer diagnosis. It must have been incredibly difficult for both of them.
Yeah, it's hard to even imagine what they went through. Did this experience change their outlook on life, on their relationship?
I think it definitely brought a new level of depth and resilience to their bond. Tom, who, always seemed so in control, he had to learn to surrender, to accept the things that he couldn't change. And Richard, facing his own mortality, he found this incredible strength and solace in Tom's unwavering support.
That's incredibly poignant. They faced this immense challenge together, and in doing so revealed even deeper layers of their love. And amidst all of this, they decided to become parents.
Yeah. Their decision to adopt Alexander was a testament to their enduring love and, their desire to create a family. And they approached parenthood with that same thoughtfulness and intention that they brought to every aspect of their lives.
I'm curious, how did they navigate the demands of parenting, especially with Tom's high-pressure career and Richard's health issues? It couldn't have been easy.
Well, they were fiercely dedicated to creating, a stable and loving home for Alexander. They established these routines like family outings and bedtime stories, to ensure that they were present and involved in his life.
It sounds like they found a way to balance their individual strength as parents. What did each of them bring to the table?
Well, Tom, with his boundless energy and creativity, he brought a sense of playfulness and wonder to Alexander's life. Richard, on the other hand, provided this wisdom, patience, and a calming presence. They truly complemented each other as parents, creating a harmonious environment for their son.
So despite the challenges they faced, they were determined to make family a priority. But as Alexander grew older, Richard started to step back from his career. What prompted that decision?
It seemed like a natural progression for Richard. He shifted his focus to quieter pursuits, like writing personal essays and spending, precious time with his family. He was content to let Tom be the public figure while he savored these quieter moments.
And Tom, always the creative force, continued to push boundaries in fashion and film. Did this difference in pace ever cause any friction in their relationship?
Not at all. In fact, it seemed to strengthen their bond. They both understood and respected each other's needs and aspirations. While their day-to-day lives might have looked different, their connection remained deep and unwavering.
It's really remarkable how their relationship evolved over time, adapting to new challenges, embracing different rhythms, yet always staying true to that core connection that they established way back in 1986.
And they were masters at celebrating, both the big milestones and the everyday joys, anniversaries, career achievements, family moments. It wasn't about these extravagant gestures. It was about this quiet appreciation of their shared journey.
It sounds like they had this amazing ability to find joy and gratitude amidst the chaos of their lives.
Yeah.
And speaking of impact, their story goes beyond just a personal love story, doesn't it? They really became icons for the LGBTQ+ community.
Absolutely. As one of the first openly gay couples, in such high-profile industries, they challenged societal norms and paved the way for greater visibility and acceptance. They used their platform to advocate for equality and to amplify the voices of others who were often marginalized.
Their willingness to be open about their love, their refusal to hide who they were, it must have been so impactful, especially during a time when being out and proud came with real risks. And it wasn't just about advocacy. Their homes were also legendary.
Yes. Their homes weren't just spaces. They were expressions of their shared aesthetic, whether it was their Santa Fe estate or their Manhattan apartment. Each one was meticulously designed, filled with carefully curated art and furnishings.
What struck you most about their approach to creating these spaces?
It was more than just having beautiful things. It was about creating a sense of warmth, intimacy, and harmony. Their homes were a reflection of their love for each other, their shared passions, and their deep appreciation for beauty. It was like stepping into their world, their very essence.
It's clear that they put so much thought and intention into every aspect of their lives, from their careers to their home life. But sadly, as we know, their story doesn't have a fairy tale ending. Richard's passing in 2021 must have left a huge void in Tom's life.
Yeah, it must have been devastating. How has Tom coped with such a significant loss?
Well, Tom has been, incredibly open about his grief, but also about the enduring power of the love that they shared. He's spoken about how Richard's presence is still felt, not just in his designs, but in the very fabric of his life.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even the greatest love stories are touched by loss. But there's also this sense of hope, of carrying that love forward. So thinking back on their journey, we started this deep dive asking if love at first sight is real. After learning about Tom and Richard, do you believe it's possible? Well, their story certainly makes you wonder, doesn't it? Maybe it's not always about that single cinematic glance across a crowded room. Maybe it's about recognizing a kindred spirit, someone who feels like home, someone who makes you believe that a love like theirs can exist.
Yeah, that's beautifully put. It's like they found that missing piece in each other, as Tom described it, and they built this life that defied expectations, challenged norms, and ultimately left the world a more beautiful and accepting place.
You know what strikes me is that their love wasn't just about romance. It was about partnership, a deep understanding and respect for each other's strengths and vulnerabilities. They challenged each other to grow, both personally and creatively.
And they faced those challenges, both personal and societal, with remarkable grace and resilience. They never compromised who they were, and in doing so, they inspired countless others to live authentically.
Yeah, their legacy is a testament to the power of love, not just as a romantic ideal, but as a force for change. They showed us that love can conquer adversity, break down barriers,
Yeah.
and create a more inclusive world.
What a powerful reminder. They lived their lives on their own terms, defying expectations, and created a love story for the ages. It's a story that will continue to resonate and inspire for generations to come.
It certainly will. And their journey reminds us that love, in its truest form, is about connection, acceptance, and a shared journey of growth and evolution. It's about finding that one person who sees you, understands you, and chooses you day after day, year after year.
And Tom and Richard's story is proof that such a love is possible. And that's a beautiful thing to hold on to.